Yeah, I see him.
Good. Now mess him up. Take him down fast.
What's the hurry?
Cops oughta hurry.
Hey guys, what's going on? Cyber Fury here. And not too long ago, the crew closed out its second closed beta, I believe. And I was one of the fortunate to actually play the game on the PC platform. Now, I don't know if they had launched their PS4 closed beta for it, as you can sign up right now, link in description. But I don't know if they launched that because I wasn't notified about it. I actually got into the PC version of it, which is what I'm going to be kind of reviewing slash impressioning about today. And this video is kind of being put out to shed some light to those who haven't played the game or haven't thought about the game, or maybe you're on the fence about buying it, picking it up, or playing it. So I'm kind of showing you what you're going to get yourself into. And without further ado, let's get into it. Now, without even telling you, I must say the graphics look amazing. From the reflection on the cars to the diverse landscapes, it just looks absolutely stunning. The water actually looks pretty good. For a driving game, the graphics, I find, are top notch. Now, I believe I'm playing this on PC right now, and I believe this is the high settings for PC. High, not very high, not ultra. I think this is just on high, which looks very amazing, I must say. For a driving game, it looks very, very good. Now, talking about the diverse lands, when I say they are diverse, I mean it. From the flat deserts of Nevada to the mountains to the bustling cities like LA, each place feels and plays differently. Now, this is very, very good because the map is absolutely huge, and so you want each place to feel different and feel like a new discovery as you kind of approach the city or place that your destination is at. Now, when I say the map is huge, I mean it is huge. When I heard the developers saying that they were taking a drive all the way around the map and it took them like 4 hours to complete, I was kind of just, thinking, is that really a realistic number here? Are they using kind of like the lowest spec car to do this on? And, are they kind of just talking it up about how big the game is to advertise? And I wasn't 100% sold on the fact that this game is absolutely huge. Just to drive from one coast, the East Coast, to the West, or from, say, like Chicago to LA, it feels like you're driving a long way, and it feels appropriate. It does actually feel like you're driving forever, but some may like that, and I can see that being a good feature to kind of play with some friends. Just kind of cruise around, find new places. But it is a long way, and I now believe them when they say it takes about 4 hours or 2 hours in the top spec cars to complete around the map, and I'm sold on that now. So, talking about the graphics of the game, I don't know too many people that actually play in a first-person view. I myself like playing in a first-person view, but I find people that just can't stand it. So, to those who enjoy playing in a first-person view, the cockpits, or interiors if you want to call them, are essentially one-to-one with their real-life counterparts. I'm not kidding. They have extraordinary interiors and great detailing. The Dodge Challenger has the very appropriate steering wheel, and all of the dash looks exactly like it would in real life. The steering wheel itself has all of the buttons on it that you don't get to use in the game, but you would be able to use in real life. And I think that really sells it on immersion and on an impact it has when you kind of look at the interior and go, whoa, this is actually a proper interior, not just run-of-the-mill kind of racing interior, or just like a blacked out kind of silhouette of what an interior can be. So very good job to them on the interiors. Now, of course, with a huge map, you don't want to be driving around aimlessly. So what they do is, if you're driving from, say, LA to New York, then on the way there, they have these things to do. So there are little challenges you can do, which includes like jumping the farthest distance or slaloming through the these little cones that they set up, or smashing these little gates. And there's just a ton of things to do, and they range from off-road to street cars to whatever. And I'll get on that a little later. But I feel like that really kind of breaks up the tediousness of driving from one end of the country to another with nothing to do, nothing to see. And I feel like it really does add another notch and make the driving, less of a chore and more of an enjoyable thing to do. On top of challenges, there are also car parts you can find, and that's actually how you obtain the hot rod. And I think there's a dune buggy as well, but I'm not 100% sold on the dune buggy. But I know for the hot rod, what you have to do is you have to drive around and find 20 or so of the car parts within a specific region, and then you can unlock that build of a car. So you can get the street mod, the dirt mod, the raid mod, and so on from just finding these parts scattered throughout various regions. And I think that's cool. Something to give the little treasure hunters, Easter egg finders something to look forward to and something to kind of brag about once you have it unlocked. Now, of course, what comes with a huge map as well, you also want to have fast travel for when you don't want to drive across the country again. And that's a good thing, because you only have to drive across the country once if you want to, and then you can fast travel between all of the places that you have discovered, quote unquote. What they do is they have the map, and it's kind of grayed out a little bit. It's kind of dark, and then once you drive in specific places, then it brightens up and it shows you the paths that you have driven, and as well as that also opens up the places you can fast travel. Now, what I really enjoy about this is you can fast travel literally anywhere on the map. You don't have to be confined to a specific road. You don't have to be confined to just going between races and all that. You can go literally anywhere. If you want to spawn on top of a rock, it'll put you on top of a rock. And I thought that was very cool. Unless there's another player there, there's a specific range within how close you can spawn on top near a player, so you can't just spawn on top of somebody and completely ruin their day. But moving away kind of from the map and immersion and that kind of stuff, we're moving more into kind of how what the game is in terms of AI and stuff like that. And yes, this game does have police, but the cops aren't annoying. And I'm very thankful for that. In some games, it feels like it doesn't matter what you do, the cops are always on your tail, always chasing you. It doesn't matter, how fast you're going, or it doesn't matter if you crash into them, crash into somebody. There's always something that's going to set the cops off in the game. And in this game, they aren't annoying. They don't come after you for every little thing you do. And in fact, I put this in kind of the between section, and they only chase you once you crash into a bunch of AI or you crash directly into them. And some people may like that, some people may not. Some people maybe want to, speed by a cop and have them start chasing them like in real life. But it's not happening, at least in closed beta. Maybe open beta, full release, they'll change that. I don't know, I don't work for the developer, so let's move on. Each car feels unique, as well as each class of car feels unique and are balanced against one another. So if you have a dirt car on the street, it's going to be less grippy, it's going to slide more. Whereas if you have a street car on dirt, it's going to feel a lot slower and a lot less grippy as well. So, moving on to the in-between, the game is locked at 30 frames per second, at least for beta. Many people may not enjoy that because, PC is kind of selling itself on the fact that you can have 60 frames a second, and even the consoles now are selling themselves on the fact that you can play at 60 frames per second, 1080p if you have the capable hardware. But in this game it's set at 30, and it does dip at points, but not too often. It's a steady 30 if you can run it properly. The cars feel floaty at first and kind of unresponsive, but then once you level them up through upgrades, they become more responsive and feel a lot better. Again, some people may like that, some people may not. It really depends on personal preference. I like it because it gives a sort of a sense of progression, as well as a sense of achievement and accomplishment once you get your car to handle the way you want. Also with that, there are plenty of upgrades you can do, and each upgrade can change a specific aspect. So you can get a tire or something like that, or maybe a new engine, and that can help improve your speed, as well as, I don't really get this part, but like tires can help you with better speed, can help you with traction, can help you with acceleration, and stuff like that. So each part has like 6 or so different aspects that it can upgrade. So again, that's another great thing to do with swapping out parts when you want, and when you want your performance to be better than your competition. So, going back into the frames a little bit, I'm jumping around, I'm sorry, but some cutscenes do need a little refinement. They have, when the car turns out of the garage, it kind of stutters a little bit and kind of gets a little choppy with the frames, but again, I'm going to chalk that up to just being a beta problem, and in full release you're not going to have that. And going back to kind of AI, the traffic, they're okay, but when you're doing challenges, they can be really annoying, especially when you have the challenge where you have to drive fast and stay on the road, because the AI can either spawn there and be there, prompting you to have to slow down and make a turn, or they won't be there. And so that makes challenges either easy or pretty difficult to reach the gold. It really depends on person. Some people may like that and say, it adds a challenge and it's great. And then some people may be like, well, it kind of makes it unbalanced and kind of biased to whether or not there is traffic on the road. Going into the bad real quick, AI, as I said before, it needs a little work. There's been instances where I've seen cars driving off the road into a river, or if somebody's waiting for the bridge, they'll kind of try and go around and just drive onto the forest, or cars drifting off and driving into a tree. So that needs a little bit of work, especially in kind of the more busy areas. Sometimes it will happen, they'll crash into one another, or they'll stop and be like completely set across the entire lane, which can get annoying as well. When you're opening the map, it needs to be fixed. I feel like where the pointer on the map needs to be focused on you at the start of it, rather than off into the Atlantic Ocean like it does sometimes, depending on where it spawns. Again, probably a beta problem. Hopefully that doesn't sneak into full release, because that's not going to be a good thing. And if it does, it'll probably be patched. I don't know why that was such a hard word to come up with. And the last point I have before I close out the video is another instance with the cockpit view. Although the interiors are very well designed and detailed, sometimes when you're going slow speeds or you're starting off and you want to turn left or right, what would happen is the entire camera will pan over about 50 degrees or so. It's a little bit more than 45, and sometimes that it's not going to help you when you're starting off, because it allows kind of the camera and part of the steering wheel to be kind of put out of focus, I guess. So in my case, I just found it an annoyance. It's not really too game breaking. Some people may like that. It's kind of realistic when when you are actually driving and you go to pull out from a curb, you actually need to look and see if there's anybody there. But in a video game, I feel like that doesn't really need to be there, and I would say personally, just kind of let the right stick. If you're using a controller, which I figure most people will be, or if you're using a mouse or whatever, just let that do the camera work. Don't force it on people. If they want to use it, they can. If they don't, then that's great. But I think that's probably going to be another beta problem. I'm not sure, probably not, but it doesn't matter really. It's just something to get used to. And with that, I'm sorry if I rambled and jumped from place to place, category to category, and flip-flopped a little bit, but amidst that, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and like the video, leave me a comment, and if you have played the beta, what's your biggest pet peeves, or what did you find great about it, and subscribe for more content on not only the Crew, but other various games. And so I hope you have a great day or night. See you on the flip side. Peace. No, I thought I'd just throw this in at the end here, because there are 2 more points that I didn't cover in the video. But the first one being that in a majority of the races of the Crew, excluding the PvP side of things, there are cinematics that kind of guide you into the start of the race, rather than just have you cut straight off from the start line. Obviously, there are instances within the video you've seen here that falsify that statement, but I just thought I'd let you know. It might be a deal breaker for some, for others may not be a problem. Wasn't really a big problem for me, so just keep that in mind as well. And the driving style, of course it is a racing game, so driving is a big thing. The driving style is more arcadey. It's not really a simulation style driving, kind of like Gran Turismo or anything like that. It's more arcade, so expect to see kind of more arcade driving style and feel, I guess, when drifting and, you know, other little tiny things like that. But other than that, again, thank you for watching, and see you guys on the flip side. Peace.